Hey, I can't even lie to y'all. I definitely thought 17 Bullets meant this was gonna be 17 songs long. I heard this was Benny's best album pre-Tana Top 3, so we finna find out.
This is a true story of
These drums is trippy, they're real off kilter.
Hands down, we the realest niggas. Plug in San Diego, and he's still throwing them like Phillip Rivers. No suits, but we with the business. A good price and have your block still hot around mid-December. Experience, that's how we all learn. So before you get a watch and a drop, go pay a law firm. And never hate when it's your dog time. These hoes know me for putting D in their box, just like crosswords. It's kinda hard living life
That's
by the
fire.
rules. So sometimes like the Knicks, how we draft shooters right out of school. Straps like black ops, and they don't come with hosters. You rats attract more cops than the Dunkin' Donuts. 17 bullets, 17 bullets.
That's
17 bullets, 17.
Yo, I'm rocking with that opener. I'm liking this opener a lot more than I did the opener of My First Brick. And these albums are only a couple of months apart. The beat here isn't crazy, but Benny feels so much more comfortable on this production. It still has a little trap feel to it with the drums, but it's more of that East Coast aesthetic. It's kind of like a mix between the two. I definitely like the rapping. He wasn't doing anything out the ordinary with the rhyme scheme, just mostly pretty crisp, 3-syllable throughout the entire song. I like that storytelling and opening. Then he had a couple of dope punchlines. The D in the Box crossword puzzle, fire. Drafting shooters out of college like the Knicks, fire. And then the track more cops than Dunkin' Donuts, tough. This is Cold November.
I'ma give it to niggas the only way I know how to give it to niggas. And that's straight up and down.
Pause.
I grew up quick, I guess these streets did a lot to me. I was serving the babysitters who was watching me. I be thinking about that shit
That's
with
crazy.
my cigar smoking. Was in the house, they all getting checks on the first. I stretched it, I compressed it, then I measured the work. I chefed it, gave them credit, then collected the work.
I like this
My
rap
mama
scheme right
proud,
here.
so other kids laughed at me. I was ridiculed. My mama wondered why I was in a bitter mood. We men in bloom, so get in tune. Can't fit my shoes, I'm a guard. Probably could use my brain to bend a spoon. Remember me? I'm the silencer on the tech. I'm your confidence. When jewels polished up on your neck, I'm Kiss spitting this verse from money, power, respect. I'm Allen Iverson arguing with the ref.
Just cold, gritty storytelling on that track. I like both verses, especially that first verse, but even the second verse when he had that imagery of him growing up, being broke, being poor. Also like that metaphor at the end when he was saying he was all those people talking about their mentality. The production is kind of demo quality, but this aesthetic is much better for him. He's still playing with that trap sound. I do think that sample had potential. It was a pretty good sample. The beat just wasn't that fleshed out, but I think it's a much better backdrop for Benny's rapping than his last project. This is Pow Pow.
And trapping on a second floor apartment. I had a kid, went to jail and came home to my daughter talking. I clipped
That's
the man,
crazy.
you probably call a sergeant. Cause you were a company of slaughterers, kingpins, and border crossers.
This is a
I got
tough
dog
for a
called
several
Homie
rounds
Wallace. He never watched the Hornets, he just cook up work, white ball and crawfish. Marble floors, the tallest porcelain. That nigga rich and cheap, he feed all the side bitches Boston Market. This rap shit's still a passion in me. And I murk everything I'm on, so that's why I brought this casket with me.
So production-wise, that was the lightest beat on the album, which is actually pretty bad because this production ain't been crazy at all. Look, Derringer and Green Lantern coming. They coming to rescue Benny, but they got him rapping over these budget beats right now. It got some pretty decent elements to it, but it's just not fleshed out well at all. This nigga can spit though. This nigga can spit. I think rap-wise, he even stepped it up a little bit. He was using mostly some 4-syllable rap schemes. Still vivid imagery, still good storytelling. He has some good punches in here too. Let's get in 1996. Potential. R.I.P. Potential with this beat. They're gonna mess it up though.
If it don't affect us, we never paid.
Nah, this is kind of tough.
Busy, stuck in our ways, still slaves of tradition. Boy, wanting much, just longevity for the team. Could've went to Howard. Funny, my specialty was the fiends. Gold on my neck. That's what they expect from us. We kings. Got your bitch for a pet. She just wanted to please.
Having your girl as a pet is wild.
Sometimes friends turn to foes. I can make halves turn to hoes.
That's so simple, but it's tough.
These the confessions of a burning soul. Dead, her youngest locked up, calling to speak. She taught it to me, so she
R.I.P.
knows.
Machine
It's
Gun.
a part of the streets, fatherless. See, I put a mask on my face if my rent due. I'm just happy I don't look like what I've been.
That's tough.
Sometimes friends turn to foes. I can make halves turn to hoes.
I think that's my favorite song on the album so far. More street talk. Wasn't as much storytelling as with the first 3 tracks, but the rapping is still up to par. The beat's giving me Bling Air vibes. Glad he ain't pitched them vocals up, but I do like the vocal sample. I like the horns, and those definitely those 2000s 909 drums. This is The Hunter with Skyzoo.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We do it like this.
Hey, this Skyzoo's signature move, the loud triumphant horns.
Black suits and Hirachis, step through on the poly. George Jeffer with your bottom better, swooning beside me. Throwing testers like Berettas, let them shoot like a homie. Build a cipher and no.
Throwing testers like Berettas, let them shoot like a homie. That's tough. That's a bar.
Same guys that juggle shells and juggle stoves. No, I braid lines, I juggle cells and juggle thrones.
Let's go.
Swinging at the trumps with my knees in it. And still got the line on the pieces hitting. Live out the style. The C-list celeb who pen for the A-pluses. And work the bedroom like I'm getting paid for fucking. I'm here, change the discussion. Who want it? Fuck what they're waiting for. He would say the verse, I don't say no more. Fuck with us.
Eddie in 94, bubble vests and some chucks. You J.R. Smith in the slump, I'm Russell West in the clutch. I just tell the fans the truth and y'all.
That ain't age well.
These pass by, double background and searchers, cause I get birds on the arm like a Matt Ryan jersey. Who ready to play?
Speaking of not aging well, bar was tough though.
Verse right here, just a page of my journal. And you can't see the scars cause the pain was internal. Growing by our governments, we use the craziest names. And sons beefing with they pops like Baby and Wayne, the Hunter.
Dog, Skyzoo has been elite for so long. I like to see the contrast of 2 great technically gifted rappers and how their styles can be so different, even just from a lyrical perspective. With Benny, he has a more straightforward style of structuring his rhyme schemes together. Like he'll use his 4 syllable throughout a verse. He'll go for multiple bars with the same rhyme scheme. And then Skyzoo, he's really good at floating in and out of different rhyme schemes. Instead of going A, B, B, he'll go A, B, B, A. A lot of end rhymes, more unpredictability with his rhymes. And he had a very solid verse. The slipper ass, the Beretta punch. Benny had a dope verse as well. I think Skyzoo had the better out of the 2, but both of them came with it. Production wasn't bad. It got the job done, nothing to write home about. This is the last track, Murder to Glory.
Real shit. I do this shit for real, little nigga. Don't glory.
This sample remind me of the vocal sample of Murals, especially the beginning part of Murals by Lupe Fiasco.
War with guys we know. The price of life insurance high. Niggas dead and more gon' die. And that's the shit we glorify.
It's probably the best rhyme scheme we had on the whole album so far.
Ties organized. Boring rhymes never impressed us. I bet your story lies.
Yeah, this is a real dope rhyme scheme.
My daughter's eyes are how I can't sleep unless my front door fortified. We used to rock Hill Figure when we was corner guys. Now it's like real niggas against the corny guys. I left school and made trap a profession. I still slide with
He took that same rhyme scheme for like a minute.
Pull up on us like they wanna ask us some questions. They jump out, throw us on the ground, harassed and arrest us. I look myself.
The 5 syllable rhyme scheme right here.
Me being passive aggressive, it only adds to the pressure. But ain't the time they round bricks is when they miss a free throw. And young niggas gon' shoot for me
Don't do
like
that.
I'm Rick Pitino.
No, yeah, y'all gotta chill out with the bricks free throws. I'm surprised he didn't say Shaq.
Spoke to my dog in the feds. He said he eat well when he don't talk on phone, so he gon' send me an email. My man asked me this, B, why you
I ain't been in jail, but I have no idea how that's any safer.
fair to niggas? So careful who you comparing with us. The era different, shoes the same, I just wear them different.
Alright, I rocked with the messaging, and I also thought that first verse was pretty tough. Rhyme scheme wise, that first verse probably had the most crisp rapping on the entire project. The second verse is pretty light. It kind of drug on, in my opinion. I do like those last few bars about him getting the news about Shin Gun being locked up and then not being able to go to the funeral. I thought that was a really tough way to end the album. Overall, we got a few more projects before Tana Talk 3, specifically his Steroids project, but I can definitely see the appeal of this project. The rapping's good. I don't think that's been a problem with Benny. I think the production was definitely more palatable than most of the songs on My First Break, save the Derringer songs. The flaw with this album is still the production, though. The production's pretty light. I just like it aesthetically better than My First Brick. My First Brick also did have a few more standouts, highlights, Dirty Needles, which I know is a bonus track on here, and 762. But I think this was much more consistent of a project. I think best of all, though, it's dope seeing the groundwork being laid for future Benny projects. The talent's clearly there, man, and he's really found in his sound.